Very good. Thank you, Amy, and thank you all for joining today. I'm going to be talking for about 45, 50 minutes, and I think Amy has some closing comments as well, just to give you a time frame on it. So I've written 5 books on retirement. My first book is a book by the name of Paychecks and Playchecks, and I will tell you, I'm a reluctant author. I never want to write a book. I didn't dream of writing a book. It wasn't on my bucket list. So why'd I write a book? Well, here's why. Because right now, if your clients talk to 50 different financial advisors and ask this very simple question, how should I retire? Or what should my retirement portfolio look like? You know what they're going to get? They're going to get 50 different opinions of what they ought to do. Well, see, retirement's been studied in depth by PhDs all over the world. People like Dr. David Babel of Wharton, Dr. Moshe Milevsky of Toronto, Dr. Menachem Yari of Israel, Dr. Wade Pfau, Dr. Michael Finke, Nobel Prize winners like Dr. William Sharp and Dr. Robert C. Merton. Well, guess what? I've read the research. You know what the research says? There are not 50 optimal ways to retire. There's really one optimal way to retire, and that's not my opinion. It's based on mathematical, scientific, and economic facts. So what I'm not going to do today is give you a bunch of my opinions. What I am going to do is lay out the math and science behind a successful retirement. I also want to tell you, I don't sell any annuities. I don't sell any financial products whatsoever. I don't get compensated on the sale of any financial products, okay? And I don't work for any one company. I get hired by most of the Fortune 500 insurance and investment companies to do 2 simple things. Number 1, I train financial advisors. And number 2, I do public seminars and public webinars for people's clients and prospects, all right? Now, I can tell you the day I decided to write the book. The day was April 4th of 2011. At the time, I was a senior executive officer at New York Life. I woke up that morning, minding my own business, reading the Wall Street Journal, when this headline popped out: Fed's low interest rates crack retirees' nest eggs. And this article is all about a guy by the name of Forrest Yeager, 91 years of age, down in Port Charlotte, Florida, down to his last $45,000. He had it sitting in a CD earning about 1%. He said, I'm not going to make it. I'm having to take money out of my portfolio, and I'm going to run out of money. And I'm reading this. I want to say, Forrest, you're 91. Did you know a 91-year-old can walk into almost any insurance company in America today and buy a SPIA, a single premium immediate annuity? Do you know what the guaranteed payout rate, guaranteed on a 91-year-old is? 20% a year. His $45,000 would have guaranteed him $9,000 every year for the rest of his life. He would have never run out of money. But Forrest didn't know. There were other people in this article. They're in their 50s and 60s. They got their money in the market. The market's crashing. They're freaking out. They don't know what to do. I said, okay, I got to write a book. So I wrote a book on how to retire the optimal way, based in math and science, not based on some stockbroker's opinion. And the first chapter is simply titled, Whatever Happened to Happily Ever After? You know, you read those stories to your kids and grandkids. What happens at the end of every story? Everybody magically lives happily ever after.
And pardon my interruption, Tom. I think our users are having a little bit of trouble understanding. I think there might be a slight mic issue. There's just some distortion coming through.
Let me just take a peek on this. I mean, this microphone's been working great for months. So
that already sounds a bit better. Maybe it was too close or something.
All right. Well, I'll keep trying. If it's bad, just wave at me or something.
Much better now. Thank you.
So the first chapter is titled "Whatever Happened to Happily Ever After," because you read those stories to your kids and grandkids. Everybody magically lives happily ever after. Well, retirement in America used to be just like that. Retirement used to be a promise. You know, you'd work for a company for 30 or 40 years. Then what? They'd hold a party. Then what? They'd present you with a gold watch. Then what? They'd give you a guaranteed paycheck every single month for the rest of your life in the form of a pension so that you too could live happily ever after. Well, what happened to that deal? You know, there's only 6% of Americans have that pension, and it's coming at a time when people need guaranteed lifetime income more than ever. There's 78 million baby boomers heading straight into retirement. They need guaranteed lifetime income more than ever, and they don't have it. Add to the fact that people are living longer. The average 65-year-old male will live to be age 86. The average 65-year-old female will live to be age 89. What's the problem with averages? That has nothing to do with how long you're going to live. See, half of the people on this call are going to live longer than that, because if you study life expectancy the way I've studied life expectancy, you're going to figure this out real quick. Life expectancy is not an average at all. Life expectancy is simply a midpoint. All life expectancy means is that half of the 65-year-old men will die prior to age 86. What about the other half? Half of the 65-year-old women will die prior to age 89. What about the other half? See, they're all still alive. And here's another fact. Married people live longer than single people. I have no idea why, but it's a fact. So you can see here, his life expectancy is age 86. Her life expectancy is age 89. But as a couple, their life expectancy is age 93. 50% of all 65-year-old couples will have somebody live to be 93. 25% of those couples will have somebody live to be 97. And there will be plenty of people on this call who live beyond age 100. So the first key concept I want to make clear is this. When you're planning for income for your clients, you've got to give them income to age 100 and beyond. The other thing is people know how much money they have. I could prove it to you right now. I could have each one of you jot down on a piece of paper how much have you been able to save from birth until today. And I'll bet every one of you could get that number within what, 500,000 or 600,000 of the real number, right? So you all know how much money you have. It's just that most people don't have a good idea what they can expect from that money. They say things like this. Well, the stock market's averaged 12% a year since 1924. So certainly I could take out 10 or 12%. No, you can't. You know, for years they said 4% was a safe withdrawal rate. Now Morningstar says it's 3.4%. Dr. Wade Fowles says it's 2.8%. So you can't take out 7 or 8 or 10% because of this thing called a sequence or order of returns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shake the ladder a little bit. I want to challenge your thinking. I want to show you some things you haven't seen before, maybe in a way you haven't seen. And I'm going to start right here. The day you retire and start taking money out of a portfolio, all the investment rules you thought you knew go out the window. They mean nothing. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, your entire life as a saver and investor, there's only one thing that's mattered, and that's been your average return. I mean, if you get 10%, it's better than 8. If you get 12%, it's better than 10. If you get 14%, it's better than 12. Your entire life as a saver and investor was focused on average returns. And yet the day you retire and start taking money out of a portfolio, average returns mean nothing. There's only one thing that matters once you retire, and that's called the order or sequence of returns. So let me try to show this to you. Here's a guy in 1973, and by the way, I picked 73 and 95 because those are about 22 years where the market went up and down. So it's not like these are old numbers. These are just showing the concept, okay? Here's a guy in 1973, he had $100,000. He invested his money 50% stock, 50% bonds. For the next 22 years, he averaged 10.1% a year, and his $100,000 grew to be worth $846,000. And it doesn't matter if we ran the numbers backwards from 1995 to 1973. Why? Because he still averaged 10.1% a year for 22 years. He still wound up with a lot of money. See, that's the way stockbrokers think the market works. That's the way most of your clients think the stock market works. And that is how it works when you're a saver and an investor. But that is not how it works the day you retire. The next slide I'm going to show you is a guy who retired in 1973. He also had $100,000. He also invested 50% stock, 50% bonds. He also averaged 10.1% a year for 22 years. But his broker told me he could take out 5% per year. Well, come on. If you average 10.1% a year for 22 years, you could certainly take out 5% a year, right? Wrong. He's dead broke. He completely ran out of money. Now, how do you do that? How can you average 10%, only take out 5% and go dead broke? It's because of this thing called the order or sequence of returns. If you look at that orange line, what happened the first couple of years of the stock market? It went down, down, down. See, here's what math and science says. If you're taking money out of a portfolio, and the first couple of years of your retirement, the market goes down, 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 you are highly likely to run out of money. Conversely, the black line, the market was flat or went up, up, up. If you retire and you're taking money out of a portfolio, in the first few years, the market goes up, up, up. Math and science says you are highly likely to be successful. The problem is none of us knows those years when the market's up or down. And the only difference between the orange line and the black line there was luck. Good luck or bad luck. It had nothing to do with who your investment advisor was, what you were invested in. It didn't matter. It was bad luck. And you don't want to have your retirement determined by bad luck. This is another way of showing it to you. And this is going to go against everything you've always been taught. You know how I know? Because it goes against everything I was always taught. See, I was always taught the older you are, the more conservative you should invest. I was taught that 80-year-olds should invest their money more conservative than 60-year-olds, and 60-year-olds should invest their money more conservative than 40-year-olds. That's what I was taught. I'm sure you were taught that too. That's not what this shows. Both of these portfolios have identical average returns. Identical. What's the only difference? The only difference is the red portfolio lost money early in retirement. It devastated their retirement. The blue portfolio lost money later in life and had much less of an impact. So if you had to say to me, Tom, when is the riskiest time for me to invest my money? It's not when you're 87. It's when you're 57 to 67. See, if you want to pick a time in your life where you don't want to lose money, you don't want to lose money right before or right after retirement. Why? Because if you lose money in that box, it can devastate your whole retirement. So here's a question for you. Where are those 78 million baby boomers we were talking about? They're all in the box. This is why you've got to put guarantees into those baby boomers portfolios, because if they lose money, and right now, market's near all-time record highs, now the Fed's starting to raise rates, markets are getting a little shaky. If that thing went down and stayed down for 5 or 10 or 15 years, that would ruin the retirements of millions and millions of baby boomers. And then inflation, inflation was dead for 40 years. It's not dead anymore. And it can have a dramatic negative impact on purchasing power. This shows $1,000 of purchasing power at 4% inflation will be cut by more than 50% in 20 years. It'll be cut by more than 2/3 in 30 years. So when you're giving your clients income in retirement, you can't just give them income. You got to figure out how you're going to give them increasing income for the rest of their life. Now, there's several ways to do that. You can do what I do. I own 11 annuities. Dr. David Babel, who's in this book, he's got 14 annuities, all right? So I've got some that kick in when I turn age 60. I got some that kick in when I'm 62, 65, 70. I am guaranteed to have increasing income for the rest of my life, and your clients can do that as well. They can also invest here in a portfolio of stocks and commodities and real estate. You can build a portfolio that if we get inflation, the portfolio goes up and there's more money to take out more money. But however they do it, they've got to have a plan for inflation to have increasing income. So, all right. A lot of risks in retirement. There's market risk. There's withdrawal rate risk. You take out too much, you'll run out. That order of returns risk at the bottom left. They're going to raise your taxes. And by the way, this is not a Republican or Democrat issue. Okay, this is a math problem. We're $30 trillion in debt, climbing at $4 billion every single morning. We have $200 trillion of unfunded obligation for Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, government pensions, military pensions. Taxes have to go up a lot. I have been moving more of my personal wealth to cash value life insurance because I want to have sources of tax-free income. I've converted almost all of my IRAs and 401ks to Roth, and most of those are in income annuities. So those are going to give me tax-free income for the rest of my life. The more tax-free income you can build up for your clients in retirement, the better they're going to be. Inflation, you got to protect against that. You might need long-term care. You might die. There are a lot of risks in retirement, but there's only one number one risk. So take a look at that list. Which of those risks is hands down? Nothing's even close. The number one risk in retirement is longevity risk. But why? It's because it's not just a risk. It's a risk multiplier of all the other risks. See, the longer you live, the more likely the market will crash. The longer you live, the more likely you'll take out too much money. The longer you live, the more likely you'll see inflation, the more likely you'll raise your taxes, the more likely you're going to need long-term care. And so with the PhDs who've studied retirement, and they are unanimous saying this, to retire optimally, you must take longevity risk off the table. In fact, if you get nothing else out of my first 20 minutes, get that. You must take longevity risk off the table. Well, guess what? Stocks can't do that. Bonds can't do that. Real estate can't do that. Crypto cannot do it. Okay, well, what can do it? It's a pretty short list. A lifetime income annuity can do it. A deferred income annuity can do it. Or an income withdrawal benefit rider from a fixed index, or variable annuity can do it. That is it. What do all those products have in common? One word, annuity. What all the research I can find from the smartest PhDs in the world who study retirement says this: to retire optimally, you must put an annuity into that portfolio. Why? Because only an annuity can take longevity risk off the table. Why? Because only a life insurance company can issue an annuity. Why? Because only a life insurance company sells life insurance to be on the other side of that risk. See, the risk when they sell life insurance is that somebody dies too soon. The risk when they sell an annuity is that somebody lives too long. Because they're on both sides of that risk, they can neutralize mortality and longevity risk to themselves and to your clients. Okay, those are the problems. What I love about Paychecks and Playchecks is it concludes with 4 simple steps. So I write these 4 simple steps down. I'm going to go one at a time. All right, these are the 4 simple steps that if you share this with your clients, they can retire in a much more optimal manner than what they're doing right now. So step number 1, you got to cover their basic living expenses in retirement with guaranteed lifetime income. So you got to ask them, how much money do you need to live your normal retired life? Okay. And that should be covered with guaranteed lifetime income. Now, there are 3 sources of guaranteed lifetime income. The first source is Social Security. Well, what is Social Security? It's a lifetime income annuity. It's a guaranteed paycheck for life, so it counts. The second source is a pension. Well, what is a pension? A pension is a lifetime income annuity. It's a guaranteed paycheck for life. So you take their basic living expenses, you subtract out their Social Security, subtract out their pension, whatever's left, that's the minimum that somebody should put into an annuity. That will give them a guaranteed paycheck. Now, I want you to know I own more than that because I don't want just my paychecks guaranteed. I want some of my paychecks guaranteed as well. But that's the minimum somebody should at least cover their basic living expenses. For the average person, it's probably going to be 20 to 40% of their portfolio. At no point will you hear me ever say they should put all their money in annuity. No, a portion, all right, 20 to 40%, at least enough to cover their basic living expenses. But why would you do it? Because you take 5 key risks off the table. You take longevity risk off the table because it's a guaranteed paycheck. As long as they're breathing, that check is coming. You take deflation risk because if they're getting a paycheck and the world goes back into a deflationary economy, which could happen once we hit a recession, it's one of the best things to own in a deflationary economy. There's no market risk. There's no withdrawal rate risk. There's no order or sequence of returns risk. You take 5 key risks off the table simply by covering their basic expenses in retirement with guaranteed lifetime income. Now, you wouldn't think BlackRock, who's a big investment manager, would support annuities. Yes, they do. Many guaranteed income products can ensure that the stream of income from a given amount of savings will not run out or be diminished by market returns. Here's 2 of the smartest PhDs in the world, Dr. Michael Fink and Dr. Wade Pfau. If the reason you save for retirement was to provide a secure lifestyle, there's no more efficient way to create lifetime income than through an annuity. These are not my words. These are the words of top PhDs in the world. Purchasing an income annuity with a portion of retirement savings can provide a higher potential for success, greater legacy wealth over long term, and increased risk capacity. Income annuities are less expensive and safer for risk-averse retirees whose primary goal is income security in retirement. Again, not my words, the words of 2 of the top PhDs in the world who've studied retirement. Annuities allow a retiree to spend at a level that would otherwise require a high risk of failure if funded solely from an investment portfolio. Remember, the investment portfolio, you can take out 2.8 or 3.4%, but many annuities are guaranteed 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, depending on your age. You can have very high payout rates in some of these annuities. The American College, how annuities can increase happiness in retirement. A stable income is often the difference between living well and living in a state of perpetual worry. And this truth doesn't change just because someone retires. So why should you have guaranteed lifetime income? Well, here's why. Every check you get from an insurance company is composed of 3 parts. And this comes right out of Dr. Wade Pfau's Safety First Retirement Planning book, okay? Every check you get from an insurance company is composed of 3 parts. Part number 1 is principal. That's the dark blue box. Anybody can give you principal. Part number 2 is interest or investment gain. That's the aqua green box. Anybody can give that to you. But the secret sauce of the annuity is that 3rd ingredient, the gold box, that you can't get from stocks or bonds or real estate or crypto, the mortality credits. And what math and science says is if any of you right now have a retirement portfolio, you do not have any mortality credits in that portfolio, math and science will prove that that portfolio is suboptimal, less than what it could or what it should be. Look, you got to understand, I have to get in front of annuity haters all the time, okay? Attorneys, accountants, people who follow Ken Fisher, investment advisors who don't believe in annuities. And so I always say, hey, look, I'm going to give you a chance to prove me wrong, okay? Because if I'm wrong, I want you to prove me wrong. And I'll let you call in Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, and Ken Fisher to help you, okay? It's going to be a simple challenge. If I'm wrong, you're going to be able to prove me wrong, just like that. So here's the challenge. All you have to do is build a portfolio that you think I cannot beat. Yeah, put the good stocks in there. Yeah, throw some bonds in. Yeah, some real estate. Sure, some crypto. Just build that portfolio. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reach into your portfolio. I'm going to remove some of your bonds. I'm going to replace it with some guaranteed lifetime income from an annuity. Do you know what that will do to every single one of your portfolios? Every single one of them. It'll lower the risk and increase the returns. Now, that's a simple challenge. I mean, if I'm wrong, you should be able to prove me wrong just like that. I've been issuing that challenge for over 30 years. I've issued it thousands of times. Nobody's been able to prove me wrong. Do you know why? Because they can't. It's math and science. See, the way that the annuity functions inside of a portfolio, it functions like a AAA rated bond because it's guaranteed every single month. You're breathing, that check is coming. With a CCC rated yield, the payout rate is much higher than what you're going to get from a money market fund or a 10-year treasury with 0 standard deviation. It never fluctuates. So even the biggest annuity haters, when I say, okay, let's just throw the word annuity out. What if I could get you a AAA rated bond with a CCC rated yield with 0 standard deviation? How would that work for you? Oh man, I'd love that. That would lower my risk, increase my returns. Exactly. Now, some of you don't sell SPIAs and DIAs. This is how it looks with a SPIA or a DIA, a single premium immediate annuity or a deferred income annuity. Some of you sell indexed annuities or variable annuities with income riders or withdrawal benefits. Okay, so here's how it works. Client puts in $100,000. They let it grow for a while. Let's say it grows 25,000, and then they turn on that income or withdrawal benefit rider. Well, here's what happens. The gain is paid out first, taxable. Then the principal is paid out, not taxable unless it's an IRA. But even when the account's at zero, the checks don't stop. What's paying the checks for the rest of their life? That's where the mortality credits kick in. But all income annuities pay mortality credits, okay? But then I get people saying, okay, well, Tom, what are these mortality credits? I still don't understand it. Okay, I have a simple story. Every year, there were 5 90-year-old ladies who went on vacation. One year, one lady said, hey, let's each put $100 in this box. We'll tape up the box, and next year when we go on vacation, we'll bring the box with us, and those of us who are still alive, we'll open the box and we'll split the money. They said, Helen, that is a great idea. So you got 5 90-year-old ladies, they each put $100 in the box. It's $500. They taped up the box. What do you think happened the next year? They forgot where they put the box. No, I just made that one up. No, unfortunately, one lady's died. So now 4 ladies open up the box. They split the $500. They each get $125. Now, that was a 25% rate of return in 12 months. I got 2 questions for you. How much of that money was invested in the stock market? 0. What interest rate there in that box? 0. How they get paid 25% with no money in the market, no interest rate? Is because they got paid mortality credits. So ladies look at this, they look at their brokerage account, they said, hey, this is a pretty good deal. I'm going to put it all back in the box, tape it back up, and do it again. So they decided to let it ride. The next year, one more lady died. So now 3 ladies opened the box. They split the $500. They each get $167. That was a 67% return in 2 years. No money in the market, no interest rate. Why? Because they got paid mortality credits. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're saying, yeah, but Tom, my clients don't want their money to disappear when they die. Do they have to have their money disappear when they die? No. They can do joint life with their spouse, joint life with their daughter. They can do joint life with their 5-year-old grandchild. This thing get paid for 100 years, okay? All lifetime income annuities pay mortality credits. The older you are, the longer you live, the more of those mortality credits you receive. So it's principal, it's interest or gains, and then it's the mortality credits. Now, I told you about math and science. Math and science is very important to me. I travel the world, teach people how to retire. It better be right. I'm on PBS in 80 million homes. Boy, I sure hope it's correct. But for your clients, there's something more important than math and science. I call it the happy factor. So let me ask you a question. When you retire, do you want to be happy or do you want to be unhappy? Well, some of you are always kind of grumpy, but most of you want to be happy, and that's good because the Wall Street Journal discovered the secret to a happier retirement. The secret to a happier retirement is friends, neighbors, and a fixed annuity. See, the Wall Street Journal studied who are the happiest people in retirement. You know what they found? People surrounded by their friends, surrounded by their families, who had guaranteed paychecks every single month. In fact, let me ask you a question. Who are your happiest retired clients? I'll bet it's your retired military, retired government, retired teacher, retired policeman, retired firefighter. It's people with pensions. See, study after study after study show people with pensions are much happier in retirement than people who don't have pensions. Happiness in retirement is tied to almost 100% to guaranteed lifetime income, not assets. Who are the most miserable clients you got? They're loaded. They got assets out the wazoo, but they're losing money over here. They're losing money over here. They're losing money over here. Assets make people miserable in retirement. What makes people happy is guaranteed lifetime income. Time magazine found the same thing in Great Britain. Lifetime income stream key to retirement happiness. A new study in the land of grumps reveals that retirees with a guaranteed lifetime income stream can find true happiness. The American College, how annuities can increase happiness in retirement. When clients know how much income they will receive every month for life, they know what kind of housing and activities they can afford, allowing them to choose the lifestyle that makes them the happiest. Now, out of all the slides in my deck, this is one I relate to because I've already kind of announced my retirement. I'm 75% retired now. I play golf 4 to 5 days a week, and that's my priority, not work. I do this, but I'm focused on retiring myself. I have a place in Phoenix, Arizona. where we live in the winter. I have a place up in Flagstaff, Arizona, where we spend the summer. It's 30 degrees cooler. Joined a country club up there. In 2020, during COVID, I won the club championship, the oldest club champion in course history. I am having the time of my life. Now, some people would say, oh, that's terrible. I wouldn't want to do that. I want to have a cabin in the woods and go hunting and fishing. Good. You can do it. If you've got enough income, you can build a lifestyle that makes you the happiest. Some people say, oh, I want to live in New York City and go to Broadway plays and eat fancy dinners. Good. You have enough income, you can do that. See, you can choose the lifestyle that makes you the happiest. That's what true financial independence is, to be able to do what you want, when you want, how you want. And that's really what they're talking about there. Greenwald and Associates respondents said the greatest benefits of having a protected lifetime income are protection against longevity risk, peace of mind, and being better able to budget, all of which can make for a less stressful and happier overall retirement. Certainty provides confidence. This is one of the reasons that retirees who've incorporated income annuities into their retirement planning report higher levels of satisfaction. Again, these are not my words. These are the words of leading PhDs around the world. So let me pause for a moment. I have proven to you mathematically and scientifically, your portfolio will do better if you add a little guaranteed lifetime income. I hope I've shown you, you are likely to be happier if you add a little guaranteed lifetime income. Now you know what the research shows? You're likely to live longer as well. Some of you follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn. If you don't, you probably should. I post a lot of neat, fun stuff on retirement. I recently posted a Freakonomics study. It's actually a University of Chicago study. Freakonomics picked up on it, pushed it out through social media. It was a University of Chicago study that studied people who bought income annuities versus people who didn't. You know what they found? The people that bought the annuities lived longer than the people that didn't. Here's what the research shows. Research shows that people who buy annuities tend to live longer, and not just because they're the kind of people that have the money to buy annuities to start with. It's apparently that little extra incentive of the annuity payout that keeps people going. Oh, I think I can live for another 30 days. Yeah, I want to stick it to that insurance company one more month. Oh, I think I can hang on for another month, and they live longer. Look, the best article I've ever read on the subject was published about 3 years ago in the Journal for Financial Service Professionals. It was written by attorney Patrick Tricker. The title of the article was Annuities and Moral Hazard. Can longevity insurance increase longevity? Here's what he found. In the United States, a 65-year-old male who purchases a life annuity can expect to live about 20% longer than a 65-year-old male who does not. And the whole rest of the article explained why people of guaranteed income tend to live longer. And I'm talking dumb, stupid things like they don't have as much stress. They don't worry. Market's down 40%. They go play another 18 holes of golf with their buddies. And because they're being paid to live, guess what? Many of them choose to live differently. They watch what they eat. They exercise. They call the doctor when they're not feeling well. And all these dumb, stupid things cause them to tend to live longer. Now, I told you this was new research. There is nothing new about this. Annuities have been around for thousands of years. The Roman Empire issued annuities because running out of money has been the number one concern of people ever since there have been people and been money. It's not a new concern. Now, many of you had to read a book in high school or college. It was called Sense and Sensibility. It was written by Jane Austen back in 1811. Does anybody happen to remember what Jane Austen wrote about annuities back in 1811? Well, let me refresh your memory from chapter 2. If you observe, people always live forever when there's an annuity to pay to them. The annuity is a very serious business. It comes over and over every year, and there is no getting rid of it. She wrote that in 1811. So let me be clear. Step number 1, cover your basic living expenses in retirement with guaranteed lifetime income. Step number 2, optimize the rest of the portfolio to protect yourself against inflation. So look, we use the annuity to cover basic expenses, but then beyond that, the rest of the money goes into a diversified portfolio. That's where stocks fit. That's where real estate fits. That's where crypto can fit. I'm not against any of those things. And, you know, it should never be annuities or investments. It should always be annuities and investments. That's what the research shows. Okay. That's what the PhD show. So you've got to have some investments, whether that's real estate or stocks or commodities, things that go up in times of inflation because you want to have increasing income over time. Step number 3, you must have a plan for long-term care. No retirement plan is complete without a plan for long-term care. You know, in Paychecks and Playchecks, I got a chapter on long-term care. You know what it's called? It's called What's Your Plan? What's your plan? Because if you've ever heard me speak before, you know I brag about my plan. What's my plan? I never have to go to a nursing home ever. I get to stay in my house till the day I die. The nurse has come to me. Why? Because I got a plan. I've got long-term care insurance with home health care. I get to stay in my house. So the next time you have a client who says, I don't want that nursing home insurance, your answer ought to be, exactly.
This is anti-nursing home insurance. This is stay-at-home insurance. This is stay-in-control insurance. Well, then they're going to say, yeah, but Tom, that long-term care insurance is just too expensive. Here's what I say. If you think long-term care insurance is expensive, man, you ought to try not having it. That'll wipe you out. I made my parents buy long-term care insurance 18 years ago. They didn't want to. It's too expensive. We'll never need it. It's an insurance company ripoff. My dad said all those words to me. I made them buy it. They were both in assisted living. $10,000 a month. $10,000 a month. Do you understand there were years my dad didn't make $10,000 a year? $10,000 a month. I can't imagine the retirement if they don't know those policies. See, the problem is a lot of people think retirement is going to be 30 or 40 years of golf, tennis, cruises, and pickleball. That's not true. You're going to go through 3 distinct phases. Let me show you what your retirement is really going to look like. The first phase is what I call the go-go years. Now, the go-go years, you're playing golf, you're playing tennis, you're going on cruises, you're line dancing. Every day it's happy hour somewhere. That's the go-go years. But make no mistake about it, the go-go years are going to be followed by the slow-go years. Now, the slow-go years, you can still do everything in the go-go. You just don't want to anymore. Fact is, you don't want to go downtown after 4:30 because dad can't see when it's dark out. That's the slow-go years. And the slow-go years are going to be followed by the no-go years. And the no-go years are those years when you're probably not leaving the building until you're leaving the building, if you know what I'm talking about. So we got go-go, slow-go, no-go. This is what I learned watching my parents go through these phases. I learned that the go-go years is all about income, not assets, income, which is why the majority of my purchases are going for income in my go-go years. I learned that the slow-go years is all about long-term care. Here's what I say about long-term care. Any plan is better than no plan. All right. So I sincerely hope you're selling long-term care insurance. I hope you are. If you're not, I hope you're selling life insurance with a long-term care rider. If you have people that cannot qualify medically, I hope you are selling an annuity that springs up a bunch of income in their 70s and 80s. Any plan is better than no plan, but you got to have a plan. And the no-go years, that's all about life insurance. Now I get people all the time say, Tom, life insurance has nothing to do with retirement. Well, wrong. I already told you I've been moving more of my personal assets to cash value life insurance so I can have tax-free income in retirement. But one of the main reasons many of your clients are not enjoying their retirements is because in the back of their mind, they think they got to leave their kids some money. Oh, we got to leave some money to Johnny and Susie. We got to leave some money to Johnny and Susie. So they deny themselves a retirement to leave money to their kids. I tell people, don't leave any money to your kids. You're not supposed to leave them a penny. You're supposed to spend every last nickel you got. The last check you ought to write ought to go to the undertaker. That baby ought to bounce, all right? Don't leave your kids money. Leave them life insurance because you can do it for pennies on the dollar. I'm going to use me as an example. We got 4 kids. So one day we're sitting around saying, hey, how much should we leave the kids? My wife said, I don't know. What do you think? I said, well, if we bought a $1 million second to die life insurance policy, name the 4 kids as beneficiary. When we're both gone, they're going to get $1 million tax-free. I mean, that's $250,000 a piece, tax-free plus whatever's left over. I said, let's start there. So we bought a $1 million second to die life insurance policy, named the 4 kids as beneficiary. That policy is completely paid up. Do you know what the total cost of that $1 million policy was? $150,000. So now think about that. For 15 cents on the dollar, we get to transfer $1 million tax-free to our kids. But here's the best part. Who gets to spend the other $850,000? We do. Don't leave your kids money, leave them life insurance. This is how you get the most for the least in retirement. That's what I share with people. So step number 4, the most efficient way to pass wealth to your children, grandchildren, and charities is with permanent life insurance. Now, I told you don't leave any money to your kids. I'm now going to tell you don't even leave any money to your grandkids either. And I'm going to show you why. We met with Annie. Annie said, Tom, I've got $100,000 down at the bank. It's not earning much. I don't care. I don't need this money. It's my just in case money. I named my 6 grandchildren's beneficiary. And when I die, they're each going to get a little over $16,000. Well, that's a nice grandma. But if that's her just in case money, why did she put it in the bank? Why didn't she put it in a life insurance policy? Most of these senior policies have full money back guarantees now anyway, all right? So put the money in life insurance, all right? Because when you die, each of your grandchildren will get $36,000 instead of $16,000. Don't leave them money, leave them life insurance because you can leave them more. What about charitable giving? Here's Al and Helen. They tithe to their church. They give their university. They saved up $50,000 they want to give to charity. When they started talking about it, they each want to give $50,000. Well, how do you give $100,000 to charity if all you get is $50,000? You put the $50,000 life insurance policy it immediately creates $100,000 or more gifting power. You want to leave money to charity? Don't leave them money, leave them life insurance, because you can leave them more. What about protecting Social Security benefits? Here, the husband gets $2,100 a month, the wife gets $1,100 a month. What happens when he dies? Well, she gets his. What happens to hers? It's gone. So her income goes down. What happens to her taxes? They were filing joint. Now she has to file single. So her income goes down, her taxes go up. What could have protected them? Life insurance. And by the way, people over the age of 60 buy more life insurance than people under the age of 60. So don't be thinking that your clients are too old for life insurance. My last idea, and then I'm going to wrap up, and this is a true story. It's in Paychecks and Playchecks. It's called The Story of the Cash Cows. It's also got a YouTube video. You can Google it if you want. But I got called in on an appointment with a rancher in Sterling, Colorado, who's worth $15 million. And the agent was recommending $7 million of cash value life insurance to cover the estate taxes at that time. Now, I'm completely aware that estate taxes have changed. You need to be completely aware that estate taxes will change again someday. So there's a concept sale, all right? So he was recommending $7 million of permanent life insurance. I don't know how many $7 million permanent life policies you've ever sold, but I've been on appointments for $7 million, $20 million, $50 million, $80 million. So, I mean, I've been on many of these calls, and they almost all go down the same way. And it kind of looks like this. What do you mean life insurance? No. I don't need any life insurance. Didn't you do your homework before it came in here? I'm worth $15 million. In fact, I can tell you one thing. If I had one more penny to my name, the last place I ever put that penny be life insurance. There'll be no life insurance here today. Well, that's how they all go. All right. So I'm used to it. So, sir, no, I understand. Look, you don't need any life insurance in the traditional sense. What you need is a way to transfer your $15 million to your children, grandchildren, and your spouse in the most tax efficient manner possible. Now, if we could do that with stocks or bonds or real estate or gold or we would, but we can't. It just so happens life insurance can be transferred income and estate tax free if we set it up properly. He said, well, I don't know if you thought I was born at night, but it wasn't last night, and there's going to be no life insurance here today, and there's the doors. You can help yourself right on out. And I'm not making it up. The agent opens up his bag, and he pulls out 4 plastic cows from like a kid's farm set. He set them right on the table. He said, Mr. Rancher, these are your 4 cash cows. This one represents all your land. This one represents all your buildings. This one represents all your farm equipment. And this one represents all your investments. Now, I was sitting here listening to Tom, and what I heard Tom say is that if we don't do anything, when you die, the IRS is going to come in here, and they're going to butcher 2 of them their cows. They're going to keep the meat. Now, what I heard Tom say is that we ought to get down there and take a little milk out of each of them there 4 cows. Now, with this bucket of milk, we're going to buy ourselves a life insurance policy. Now, when you die, that life insurance policy goes to the IRS, but your family gets to keep all 4 of your cash cows. Now, one of those 2 things is going to happen. You get to pick which one. And it was like a light bulb went off in this guy's head. He said, well, heck, every rancher knows it's better give up a little milk than to butcher 2 good cows. Now, what's my point? My point is I couldn't explain estate planning to him. The attorney couldn't explain estate planning to him. The accountant couldn't explain it, all right? You put 4 plastic cows in front of the guy, he turns into an estate planning genius. Here's what I learned that day. Number 1, keep your message simple. Number 2, speak their language. Keep it simple. Speak their language. See, if you're working with a trucking firm, you have 4 Tonka trucks on your desk and take a little gas. You just have 4 Tonka trucks, buy a policy to go to the IRS. They get to keep all their trucks. Keep it simple. Speak their language. So a couple of tips before I turn it back over to Amy. Number 1, I would encourage you to sign up for my newsletter. It is free. You go to tomhegna.com. You just click on sign up for the newsletter. My most popular newsletter ever was this one, Why Ken Fisher Really Loves Annuities, and You Should Too. I'm not going to tell you what's in there. You can Google it. It's online. You can read it. I was named a couple years ago as one of the 11 thought leaders in the world on retirement income. The American College said, hey, sign up for his newsletter. Little did I know, Forbes magazine signed up for my newsletter. So my second most popular newsletter was this one. The 60-40 portfolio is dead. Long live life insurance and annuities. And all I said was to use life insurance and annuities as bond substitutes. Well, the day that came out, I get a call from Forbes. They said, Tom, we got your newsletter. We love it. Hey, can we put that in Forbes? What do you think I said? Yeah, just spell my name right, and they did. So you can Google Forbes, Tom Hegna, and you'll have stuff that pops up. I have several articles that have been written in there. If you go to my website, I got books, I got audiobooks, I got DVDs. I think I got the best slides in the industry. They're all available on my website. I got online training and coaching. People buy these books by the case, and they've made millions and millions of dollars. This book has sold billions in annuities. All right. Just having people read the thing. You don't even have to give it away. Just lend it out to them. Have them read it. You can put your name and picture picture on the cover of the book. It'll still say it's my book, but then it says with contributions from your name. You get to put your picture on the back. All of this is about you. One of these sleeves is about me, and one of these sleeves is about you. All right, you can customize it. A lot of people like to do that. I've got online training and coaching. It's called Tom Hegna On Demand. It does 3 things. Number 1, training. Number 2, coaching. Number 3, client education. Remember, it takes 10,000 hours to become a master at anything. I have presented for over 10,000 hours. I've trained people for over 10,000 hours. You got to spend time in this business. So number 1, my entire brain is online. Little short videos, hundreds of little short videos that you can watch over and over and over to get my words, my language, my stories. Before every appointment, you can go to the coaching side and a video me pops up and say, hey, tell me about this appointment. Is your client single or married? You click single. How old is this person? 72. Once you hit those 2 buttons, a video me pops up. Okay, so you're going on an appointment with a 72-year-old widow. Here's going to be her key concerns. Here's the questions you should ask her. Here's the products you're going to probably want to use. Here's going to be her objections. Here's how I would handle those objections. And I coach you before going on the appointment. The next day, you're going on an appointment with a 35-year-old couple. You get married 35. A video me pops up. I coach you totally different than what I did for the 72-year-old widow. And the last thing it does is client education. Who's educating your clients? Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey? I have about a 2.5, 3 hour intense training for clients. I walk them through the 7 steps of Don't Worry, Retire Happy. And normally I charge $97 a month for those things, the training, the coaching, client education. But because you're here with Annuities Genius, here's the deal. If you want, you can try that Tom Hegna On Demand for 30 days. I'll cover it. All right. You can get all 3 of my books, all 3 of my audiobooks, both DVDs, my white paper on Social Security. All right. That costs over $300. You can get all of that for $150 if you just text happy to that phone number right there. So you might want to take a picture of that screen. I'll put it up again in a little while. But because you were the Annuities Genius today, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to throw in 4 cash cows. Yes, we have TomHegna.com cash cows, and I will do that for you. So that's over a $450 value for $150. I can't tell you if the market's going to go up or if the market's going to go down. Are we going to have inflation or are we going to have deflation? I don't know, but I do know this. If you cover their basic living expenses in retirement with guaranteed lifetime income, and then optimize the rest of their portfolio to protect themselves against inflation, if you have a plan for long-term care and help them use life insurance as the most efficient way to pass wealth to their children, grandchildren, and charities, I do know this. Each and every one of your clients can have a happy and successful retirement that is based in math and science, not based on some stockbroker's opinion. So I will put that up there just for another minute. I know Amy's got some closing remarks, and then I'll stick around for Q&A.
Oh my, that was so wonderful, Tom. Also, I was muted at the time, but I did let out the loudest awe when I saw the cute, tiny little cows. Those are just stinking adorable.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
thank
Tom
you.
Tom is absolutely amazing. I know him for many, many years, and he's one of the best public speakers I know, and just an amazing person that really believes in his stuff, and his stuff works.
Mm-hmm.
The older I get, his books is getting more value in my mind, because it's all true, guys. And if you have his stuff and you learn how to sell, and you can use Annuities Genius to sell it and be transparent and compliant, I think it's just phenomenal. It's going to help you tremendously in your life, in your sales cycle. Tom, thank you so much again. And we have some couple of cool things for you right now, guys. If you're new to Annuities Genius, or you just want to learn more, we got the case study for you right now. Amy's going to run to them really quickly. Why? Because it's that quickly. It takes not long time to sell an annuity or help the consumer. With the Annuities Genius platform, we have this unbelievable course from A to Z, how to sell annuities. And Amy, go ahead.
Absolutely. So I am going to do a couple case studies for you here today, just to show you how we can solve for that income immediately. As Tom had mentioned, oftentimes with those prospects, you're going to want to make sure that you're covering the basics with that guaranteed income. And we actually have a few different ways to do that in the platform. So for example, I'm going to jump directly into the guaranteed rider calculator just to get us started. Now, if we already know the premium amount that the prospect would like to put in, then we can solve for that income they're able to withdraw yearly or even monthly. However, let's think about it from a slightly different angle. Let's say we did find out how much of that those necessary expenses are going to be covered by their pension or their Social Security. Well, now we need to find out that last amount that will be covered by an annuity. So if we see my client is in Arizona, 176,000, but I'm going to go ahead and click solve for premium. Now, let's say that between her pension or Social Security, she needs about 40,000 additional every year in required annual income. Well, let's see what products are fitting for Sarah Stone. We're going to do A- or higher. We're going to say she would love to have a premium bonus. And then let's also say we want an annuity that does allow us product life flexibility. All right, and surrender years, let's say anywhere from 8 to 10 is what she is comfortable with. So as quickly as that, we can run a little case study for our prospect, finding out exactly how much that they need to be able to put into that annuity to achieve their required annual income and have that peace and that happiness and that ease moving into their retirement. And of course, we can look it up by rider category as well. There's a lot of enhanced payments riders. And let me generate a report for those products. That is one thing Annuities Genius does for you, is it automatically records keeps absolutely every aspect from product selection to validation from the sales process. Gorgeous, simple reports, and you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's without really any effort or thought behind it. You just click the button, generate that report. And just as quickly as that, we find the best products, and we can slide it around by deferral as well. Now, income is one reason why people go for annuities. Another one is that growth and accumulation. So we're going to jump into our performance analyzer here. And this is all based off of the NAIC back testing. We get all of our information directly from the carriers, all of the rates, every single piece of information. Now, I'm going to go and sort by our 20-year performance, the longest stretch in the market there. I always like to take that AM Best rating up. And I have a personal preference of working with those indices that are a little bit older, have a history and a track record. But the great thing is it all comes down to how you use the platform and integrate it into your own sales and presentation process. Now, just as we did in our income, we are going to go ahead and say that, yes, she would love product life flexibility premium. And let's go ahead and say that she would like a premium bonus and no cap. We have greater search parameters down here, but you can see in just a few seconds of clicking through those buttons, you're automatically pulling up the perfect products in seconds. We show you the average performance, the best and the worst from the last 10-year stretch. So you have every important piece of information right in front of you. And of course, just by clicking that button, you are officially within compliance. You are record kept and documented. And look at how beautiful, 3 pages, simple report. We can also do all of our own allocation strategies as many times as we would like. Predefined, gorgeous allocations ready to go for you. Or you can really dive into the nitty-gritty and do your own allocation strategies. I'm going to walk us through a quick example just for time's sake today. As soon as it equals 100, there we are. Of course, we download that report. And the very cool thing is that for every allocation strategy, again, we will show that high, low, and most recent, making it easy peasy and very digestible for your prospect. All right, And very last thing today is our legacy calculator, that enhanced death benefit. So that is typically the third reason why people will look in for those annuities as well, is leaving behind a legacy, whether it be for their kids or their grandchildren, right? We're going to say periodic payouts. We're looking at the top performing allocation strategy. Guaranteed value is what we're sorting by. Arizona, 72, 176. AM best rating, let's bump it right on up. Let's say she would like a bonus. So it looks like we've got one product with a bonus. Let's leave it on any, but specify product life flexible additional premium. Now this will slide around for our estimated age of death, giving us new guaranteed and hypothetical values, but in a second, you can bring great peace of mind to your prospect. Of course, we open up list view. Every detail that you could possibly need as an agent is going to be in here, whether that be in their annuity info report or that annuity brochure. And very last thing that we will do together today is we'll take this product straight into our Universal Illustrator, which is the only one in the entire industry. And within moments, you can doctor your illustration, whether it be your allocations, your rider, or even adding in a withdrawal schedule of specific percentage or free, sitting right there with the client. And it within moments, you've got a gorgeous illustration with hypothetical values, guaranteed values, and every detail that you could possibly need for that product. So in just the last 10 minutes, we have solved a case study for income. We have solved a case study for growth and accumulation and for legacy. As you can see within the platform, we give you everything you need to serve your prospect in the best way possible, work with more trust, transparency, ease, and efficiency, all while documenting the process for you and not having to use an ounce of energy. All righty.
Great. Thank you so much, Amy. Great job. Guys, if you don't know Annuities Genius or you never sold with Annuities Genius, we only have one job, is to get you to the first sale. Our job is one job, only simple job, is to get you to one sale with Annuities Genius. When we get you to one sale with Annuities Genius, you'll really see the real power behind the Genius. It does everything simply for you. All you have to do is learn how to sell with the Genius. We have an amazing course that we built. By the way, we built a course from the people that are doing millions and millions of production with Annuities Genius. The course is absolutely stunning. It's going to get you to the first sale instantly. All you have to do is learn how to navigate the Genius platform with all those different tools for different case studies that you need to do, and learn our course, obviously. We have every morning, 9 in the morning Pacific, where Amy does amazing job every morning to train you on the Genius platform. It's just amazing. Basically, I want you to imagine one thing. I want you to visualize an Amazon for annuities. Your leads come through Annuities Genius. You can talk to the leads through the Genius. You can close the leads on a Genius. Everything on a Genius, including record keep all the files for Rec BI and best interest. Everything and everything done with a Genius. It's a 7-year overnight success. We have thousands of very happy customers. We did over 2.5 billion. That's right, over 2.5 billion in production approximately in the last 12 months from the members who uses the Genius platform right now. Don't take my word for it. See it for yourself. Call 949-600-7707. Talk to Amy or anybody else who will answer the phone to help you on the sales team. Or just simply go to Annuities Genius, click on testimonial page, and just read the real testimonials of people like you. We have guys that used to do 300 a year in Annuities Premium, now do 3 million a year. We have guys that are doing 60 million a year with Annuities Genius and everything in between. Don't take my word for it. See it for yourself. We're coming out with 2 more platforms shortly. If you're an RIA and you want to do manage money and sell annuities, you're going to be able to do that. And the other one is secret. It's very secretive. You're going to have to stay for the next couple of months and wait for it. It's going to change your life one more time. But do we have Tom on the phone right now still?
Yeah, we do have
Yes,
Tom
I'm
on the
here.
phone.
I'm here.
Tom, is any words of wisdom? I love your wisdom. Before we let the guys go.
I think you need a tool, to sort out all the annuities. I don't know how anybody could go through, 2,000 brochures and try to figure out, which strategy. And so I think you need a tool. I think this is a tool that makes it very simple. It's very professional. And so that'd be what I'd say there. And then you got to know what words to say when you get the appointment. And that's why if you can use disinterested third-party references like the PhDs and things like that, that's going to help you with clients understanding why they need an annuity. And then once they understand they need the annuity, then you got to find the right one for them. And that's what Annuities Genius can do, is it takes this thousands of products and narrows it down to 5 or 10 for that client. Then they can look at those and you can say, okay, well, this one, the positive here, this one has a positive here. What do you like? Oh, I like that one. Okay, well, now instead of selling, now you're their assistant buyer. You're helping them get the right product instead of selling them something. You just say, what do you want? I'll do any of these. I don't care which one you want. I think these are about the 10 best for your situation. You tell me what you want, and then boom, it's done. You're more of an assistant buyer.
And you can record keep all the files instantly. You have to worry about best interest and DOL. It's already programmed inside the Genius platform. We have the lead systems coming to the platform 2 times really shortly. We finalized developing that program. So basically, it's a plug in and play from A to the E app, everything in one place to sell an annuity. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to call anybody anymore. You just really don't. You just save all this time, stay transparent, and make money and help people.
We got about 5 minutes. So if there are any questions, I know there's a question on Spanish books. Look, I've tried to get this thing translated like 3 times, and every time the person doing it kind of quits doing it. So we haven't translated into Spanish. It's translated into Chinese because I spoke in Taiwan twice. But and now I'm kind of entering retirement. I'm probably not going to translate it, but I'd probably be willing to sell the license to somebody who wanted to do it. And we could work out some arrangement. If somebody really wanted it in Spanish, we could probably work out a situation, but I'm probably not going to be the one to do it.
And then there are a few other questions. I believe Charisse asked if you have any in-person coaching or training. She is based out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, I live in Phoenix. I really haven't done a lot of in-person coaching. We do have a thing where we can do a Zoom call and we charge for that. But I think the online training coaching, I would start there because that's cheap. It's 30 days for free and $97 a month after that. If you want it, we offer special deals on lifetime subscriptions and things like that. So I would do that first, and then maybe we could have lunch sometime and you could ask me questions or something. I don't think we have to have a formal thing, but that's what I would say. I got a lot of my stuff online and it's very good.
Excellent. And then Joseph Gruda said, does buying the bundle subscribe you to the $97 monthly? So
it's separate. So like if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. You can just buy the bundle and not take advantage of the coaching, or you could give it to somebody else. Yeah, you're not required to do it.
Excellent. Well, we'll leave it open for 3 more minutes. So feel free to type in any questions that you have for Tom, Mr. Hegna, or David and I. Now, I did include my phone number and my email into the chat box. If any of you have additional questions after this webinar ends, if you'd like to learn more about the Genius, give us a call and subscribe. I would be happy to help you out. And I hope you guys all enjoyed this webinar as much as I did. This was wonderful, Tom. I feel like I just absorbed a lot like a little sponge. So thank you for coming on in and sharing that wonderful information.
All right. And David, we're all pulling for Ukraine. So, it's terrible what's going on over there.
Glory to Ukraine.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Bye now. Thank you, Tom. Amy, great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, David. I am so glad that you were able to join us from the forest.
Yes. Let's stay, in the rainforest. Guys, if you're still here, get the Genius. If you cannot make a sale in the next 60 days with our help, with the training, I'll give you your money back.
All right, there you go. You got it. I'll be your witness.
Get the training. We still have thousands of people joining. It's amazing. Thank you so much for all of you joining.
Of course.
And thank you, Richard.
Yes, thank you very much for coming and joining us, especially on this webinar. We're going to try to host many more of these wonderful special events for you guys, supporting our agents, because we couldn't do it if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you for being a part of the family and the team.
Yes.
It's we love you guys.
Yes, thank you so much for all of this. And guys, if you can, don't forget to help Ukraine any way possible. We're not fighting for just Ukraine, we're fighting for the whole Western world.
Oh my goodness, John, that is wonderful. I am happy to hear that success for you. If you wanted to send us in a short written or video testimonial, that would be wonderful.
John just said that he just made a 340,000 case, I believe, right? He closed.
Yep.
With the Genius platform.
Yeah, and you can send,
wow.
And for any other users who are here who love us and want to send us a testimonial, we appreciate it so much. It's very simple. You can send it right to my email if you would like, Amy at Annuities Genius.
Guys, I think you're missing out. I really think, I'm not pitching you here to tell you how great I am. I think you're really missing out if you don't have the Genius. If you sell annuities and you don't have the Genius, something wrong. It's 2022 outside, okay? The Annuities Genius InsurTech platform, it's an ecosystem for everything you need. It's imagine Amazon for annuities. That's what Annuities Genius is. We have absolutely everything there.
And we just got another interesting question from Joseph about the free versus the paid subscriptions. Now, our free plan, it's great, but it's more of a fail safe where because we do that automatic record keeping for you, if, for example, you decided to retire or sell your book of business, we always want you to have access to those records. So we created our free plan. That way you don't have to pay and you always have access to those things just a click away. Now, with the light version and the prime version is where the power comes in. You have your compliance, your record keeping, your presentation tools. Why don't you give me a call right after we hop out of this webinar at the 949 number. I'll enter it into the chat one more time. And you can
give me just another thing. It's not even subscription. Okay, we don't really like subscription. Subscription to what? This is your life. It's a lifestyle. Annuities Genius is a lifestyle. It's not a subscription. Okay, subscription is maybe Netflix. You can be subscription to watch a movie. Annuities Genius make people millions.
Yep, it's a lifestyle.
Save you millions. Save you time. Save you who you are. You're not a salesman anymore. You're an expert. You're an expert in the field. You're a rock star with Annuities Genius. If you pull the Annuities Genius in front of your customer and they will participate in the process with you in the sales process, that's where Annuities Genius shines. It builds trust for you instantly. Try it. Don't take my word for it. It's a lifestyle. It's Genius works. Thank you, John.
Thank you guys so much. Again, feel free to send in any testimonials to us. We absolutely appreciate and love it. Perfect for the best interest. And Joseph, I will be giving you a call, and Charisse, I will be looking forward to hearing from you as well. We'll get you all set up with the platform, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day.
God bless you all.
Oh, awesome. Let me write down that phone number real quick.
I really maximize my revenue well. As a software, wonderful. Thank you, David. Thank you, Robin. It was built for you guys to save time and make money and help people and become millionaires. Don't forget, we're still in America. It's still capitalism here, you know? I'm just having too much fun. Calling you in the car inside the rainforest.
I know. Beautiful. All right. Well, I think we're going to close it up here unless anybody has any final questions, and I will start making my phone calls. All righty.
Guys, if you go for the yearly plan, Amy will explain you can save $1,000 on a yearly plan. I want you to do this before I let you go. I want you to do this for those who are still here. Your average commission on annuities is about 6%. If you sell one annuity of $30,000 at 6%, that's about $2,000 commissions. You need to close one annuity about $30,000 premium, and you paid for your whole Genius for the whole year, and the rest is just pure profit. With that, stay safe, help people, enjoy what you do.